Hi, I'm Chris. The name of this band is Escape Act, and I play guitar and piano.
I'm Rich,
Sing.
and I sing backing vocals, but mainly play bass.
I play drums and I don't sing, and I'm called Alan.
The band formed around summer 2006. Me and Richard had known each other for a few years before that, and around that time I had some songs, and I knew Richard played bass, and the band grew out of that. Then we met up with Alan, and we rehearsed quite a lot that summer, and then by about April 2007 we released our first EP, which was called Hot Air, and it did well in that it tightened us up a lot and got some exposure.
Well, we played a gig with Los Campesinos, which in the Limelight in Belfast, and that was a lot of fun. And we've done quite a few shows around Ireland. We did a tour in July, and we played in
Cork.
Yeah,
we played a
bigger place
in Limerick, which was really nice. We enjoyed that.
And Whelan's as well. Yeah. So the tour was pretty cool, and that was on the back of a single that we released in June, and we recorded that in Chem 19 in Glasgow, which was kind of as big a highlight as as a big gig for us, because it was a really special process.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been focusing, a lot in our first 2 years on getting where we think it sounds good, and we've done that through gigs, but we've also done it a lot, I think, through hard work in the rehearsal room and recording. We're going to release our first album next month. It's called Loosely Based on Fiction. It's being released initially through a series of blogs, which was Richard's idea, and then it's been supported. So we've had the MU's State Magazine up north,
MP3 Hugger, Alternative
Ulster Magazine up north,
and a few others are still to come out. And we're actually releasing God Says again, only releasing it as stems, so people can remix it as well if they feel like it. Yeah,
so we're having a lot of creative time, I think, through doing a lot of work. Trying, I think, just to improve all the time and to get to the point where we're excited by what we're doing. We're very proud of the album, but already we sort of want to record one. We're going to start it in February, go back over to see Andy in Glasgow, and just keep going, because I think any band only has a certain amount of time, and you just want to capture that period. Richard is really great with ideas for exposure, and we are actively trying to get as much of a fan base as possible. But we are very aware, I think, that it's very competitive just now with the multimedia explosion, and it's hard to be heard. So we'll try and work our hardest to get it heard by as many people, and the likes of this forum's helped, and we're grateful for it. But I think we're also very determined to leave something behind, that when we are finished, we have maybe 3-4 records that we think chart progression and that have some sort of musical worth, rather than worrying about when we're going to get supporting Franz Ferdinand, or, do you know what I mean? Rather just trying, this is our band, this is what we're doing, this is our time to do it, and we want to leave something behind that we're proud of, and I think we're working hard at that.
I don't think we've changed. I think we've focused on what we like, and your taste in music comes through in what you write. And as you keep buying albums and you hear new stuff, it's like a sponge. You soak it up. You don't consciously go, let's sound like that. I think we're all aware that we don't want to sound like the sum of the parts. We want to sound like the sum of the parts before we met, stuff we've listened to for years. So
it's also a big adventure, because we're getting to do a lot of things for the first time, like record an album and do it properly. And every time we learn something like that and do something, our knowledge grows, and we want to apply it again and from different angles. So, and that's musically, artistically, and creatively, visually, as well as the business side of things. So we're impatient to keep learning new things so we can apply them.
I think we're sort of mature enough to be able to go and say, that's not worth putting in. I think it's decision making gets better. I think that's maybe the key, is we know what to leave out rather than what to put in sometimes.
Yeah, and I think you also want to capture each sort of stage. I mean, the first album's sort of quite naive in that it's quite direct. There's not very much flashy playing on it. It's very direct and to the point. The next one, I don't see really that much more flashy playing from us, but maybe bring some different sounds and instruments. We were talking on the way down about maybe sort of more, not classical parts, but classical elements going on behind our racket, you know, and just trying to move things on all the time and do something different and catch each next stage. We don't know what we're doing because we're in the middle of doing it, you know what I mean? And it would be nice to be able to look back at the first album from having done the second to try and figure out what that was that we did then, you know.
And what would your creative process be? I mean, would it usually be, you say you spend a lot of time in the rehearsal studio, is it you that arrives with lyrics, or does the music come first, or how does that work?
It's changed because the first time I had the songs and I basically demoed them up, drums, the lot, and then this time we're again just had a nice chat in the very pleasant Dublin traffic about you know, how it's changed, because now the songs are written under basic form by me at home, but this time we're starting with drums with Alan sitting playing, and we like this, we don't like that, whereas the last time it was more, there was more of a certain idea, whereas this time it's more organic, it's more, I think, emotionally involving for us three and more enjoyable because of that.
You play off each other more, I think, and you go, no, that doesn't work, or let's play that more. We like that bit, whereas before you were getting 4 minutes of a crafted song.
Yeah, he's just summed it up there, by the way. That's what the next record hopefully will be. Hearing the playing off. The first one, it's just like it was thought out. And we rehearsed up ideas that were pretty much planned, and what I don't hear in the first one is that idea of playing off each other a wee bit more. And I'm hopeful that we'll catch something that is like that. You know, that's a wee bit more playing off each other and things that we can hear that came from a natural thing rather than here's a demo, you know.
Well, we were listening to Pavement on the way down, but
we weren't. What's going on in the background?
There was too much chatter. I don't know who we're listening to at the minute.
You listen to so much
you
more
bought
stuff.
You bought The Fools.
Yeah, but I bought that because he told me.
Right. And actually, MP3
like
Hugger produces these compilations, and he just brought one out. They're called Indicator, and it's really cool. I just got it this week.
As regards current bands, I mean, I can never think of what current bands that I like. You know, it's always go back sort of. There are some bands I've liked over the last couple of years that were current, like Interpol when they came out. Thought that was really good, and other bands, but a lot of them are more, you know, all the albums that Brian Eno did with all various people, from Bowie through Talking Heads through to his own stuff, or the early Smiths records, or, you know, Neil Young, you know, all the stuff that's always been there for us, you know, or the Clash and all the sort of, really, I suppose it's where all the bands that are now or maybe lifting stuff from. I suppose we're enjoying those bands rather than you can hear. The unfortunate thing about knowing all those bands is that you can hear who's doing something good now and who's doing something that's just a sort of glossed up rip-off of so-and-so, you know. So
I think iPhones or iPods make a big difference to music listening, because every time it's a new song rather than an album. But I think Dodos is a band that are really interesting at the minute, sonically and tunefully. But there's another band from Belfast called Cashier Number 9 that I happen to be listening to recently. It's just as good as it's ever been, really.
There's loads of venues, and there's an awful lot more bands, definitely, making a much more concerted effort to be a band, you know, rather than just play it, which is a really great thing. When we played last night, an acoustic slot with some other bands in a place called Charlie's Coffee Shop. There was Cutaways, who had a single out recently, Lovers and Lunatics. It's a great song. There was another band there called Tracer. They weren't playing, but they're another band who've released a couple of albums, Tracer AMC. And, you know, there's always good bands floating about Belfast. I think there's more of a sort of an idea of a collective spirit. I don't know if it exists, because I don't. We're just not maybe at a stage whereby we're involved in it, although I suppose at times, like last night, we really enjoyed feeling that we were. But, you know, it's maybe a group of friends as well. You know, and it's nice. I got to chat to some of the people that maybe would constitute members of that over the last few months, and they all seem really great people, so that's super. But we're in our rehearsal space a lot, or we're over recording. And I'm not suggesting that that's a good thing, it's just what we're doing.